In this video, I want to share with you 4 mistakes that you want to keep in mind when you're investing in real estate. Let's get into this. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Jamel Gibbs, your family-oriented entrepreneur. Welcome to another video. Listen, if you're brand new to my channel, go ahead, hit that like button. Also, go ahead and hit the subscribe button below so that you can get more videos just like this. In this video, I want to share with you 4 key things that you definitely want to be mindful of when you're investing in real estate. These are mistakes that I've personally made myself, and I know it'll benefit you in your real estate investing business as well. All right, so the first thing that you want to do is avoid being too desperate for a deal. Let me give you an example. So last week, my team and I deployed 3 additional markets in my real estate investing business. And usually when we deploy 3 markets at a time, we'll find one that we can scale in and be able to make a lot of money in that particular market. But last week, we deployed in a new market and we found 3 deals within the first week. One of the contracts was a pretty good deal, but the seller, although the price and everything was good, the seller became too finicky in order for us to be able to do business with. If I was brand new in the business, I probably would have tried to make that deal work in order to make some money on that particular deal. But you have to remember that there's plenty of other sellers out there. So don't be too comfortable. Don't be too desperate to get the one deal. Just know that there's always going to be another deal out there. Now, the reason why this particular deal didn't work out is because the seller wanted me to give him the earnest money deposit before he signed the contract. And that's not how we do business in my real estate investing company. We sign contracts and then we provide earnest money deposits after the contract is signed. And that way avoid being taken advantage of from sellers who can take our money and run.
That day, for no particular reason, I decided to go for a little run.
And believe me, this has happened to me before in the past, and that's how I learned from it. Years and years ago when I was in Pennsylvania, I had somebody that I sent an earnest money deposit to. I expected the contract back, but I never received the contract back. Never heard from the guy again. So that told me to never give an earnest money deposit first and to never be too desperate for a deal. There's always gonna be another deal. I know it takes time. I know it's hard to get deals sometimes, but never be too desperate for a deal because number 1, the seller can sense when you're too desperate. And number 2, you're not gonna get the best circumstances when you're too desperate to get a deal. So rule number 1, never be too desperate for a deal. Now, mistake number 2 is for all you wholesalers out there. I want you to avoid marketing a contract before you have a signed agreement with the seller. Number 1, you'll get yourself into some trouble if you do this. And number 2, this can set you up to not be able to get the deal as well. Let me give you an example. So a couple of years ago, right here on the other side of town in my local market where I live, there was a seller who called me on one of my postcard campaigns. Turns out it was a great deal. I negotiated it right over the phone and I set up to where I can actually go out and view the property and then get the agreement signed by the seller. Now, I knew I had this one in the bag, but before I left out the door, I sent an email to my buyers list just to tell them that this particular contract was coming soon. Now, I didn't put the address in the email, but I did have a picture of the property in the email. Now, I still don't know who it is until this day, but someone on my buyers list who was in contact with the seller contacted him and said, do you know that this person is marketing this particular deal? Now, obviously, I could call that particular buyer whatever I want. I can say what I want about that particular person.
Cotton-headed ninny muggins.
But it was my fault for marketing that agreement without having a signed contract on the deal. So when you don't have a signed agreement on your particular deals that you're marketing, number 1, you risk losing the deal if the seller finds out and if it's your intention to wholesale that particular house to be able to make a quick profit on it, and the seller sees that you're marketing it for more money than what you have it under contract for, that can cause some issues, especially when you have hating buyers out here who want to step on your toes and don't want you to eat.
Okay. All right.
And number 2, if you start marketing a particular contract, and I see a lot of wholesalers do this, they'll actually market the house rather than the agreement before the contract is fulfilled on the seller side. You can get yourself into some trouble with that because what you're doing is you're marketing a house rather than the contract. And then on top of that, you're marketing it without having an agreement with the seller. So you can't sell something you do not own unless you have some type of control in the agreement. And when you sign an agreement with the seller, you have equitable interest, which allows you to go ahead and sell your equitable interest to another party. So that's why it's called an assignment of agreement of sale. That's why you're able to assign your equitable rights, because you have an agreement with the seller in the first place. So number 2, avoid marketing contracts before the seller has signed on their end. Number 3, avoid counting your money before you have it in the bank. I'm going to be honest. I'm still guilty of this even today. Just to give you an example, I had a deal that was closing last week. I was counting that money before I actually closed the deal. I knew exactly what I was going to do with the money. I planned out what that money was going to go to before we actually closed the deal. And it turns out we actually had to push the closing back. Now, thankfully, we are still going to close that deal. I didn't lose it, but because I planned what I was going to do with that money, expecting that particular deal to close, I had to push things back anyway. So avoid counting your money before you have it in the bank. Sometimes deals won't close. At the end of the day, the whole point is avoid counting your money before you actually close the deal. And that way, you're not setting yourself up for failure. Number 4, never think that real estate is an easy business. Now, I see a lot of people who want to get started in real estate, but they have no idea of the amount of work that actually goes into this business. And because of that, within 2 to 3 months, they're usually not pursuing real estate anymore. And that's because they thought real estate was going to be easy. Granted, a lot of gurus out there, they'll tell you that you can make money in 30 days. And this is absolutely true. But you have to remember that people have different skill sets that allow them to make money a lot quicker. So if somebody's making money relatively quick, it could be the market, it could be the skill sets that they have, it could be just the right timing. A lot of different things that allow them to make that money relatively quickly. You don't know what their background is. And because of that, you can't compare yourself to somebody else. So what I always tell my coaching students is expect to spend 6 months of really getting your business off the ground before you ever make $1. And that's setting them up for success, not for failure. They're not expecting to really generate a whole bunch of money within the first 30, 45, 60 days of them coming into the business. They're expecting to have to build that foundation. They're expecting for it to be hard. And I plant that in their heads. I tell them it's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy, but I'm here to guide you. And then if they succeed before the 6 months, like I have students that close deals within 7 days, 2 weeks, 30 days, 45 days, they'll be that much happier. So that way I'm under promising and over delivering. The whole point is this is a mindset business, and it takes a strong mind to be able to succeed in this business. And if you want to succeed in this business, then you have to set yourself up for success.
So it's not going to be easy. It's going to be really hard.
Expect to do the hard work. Expect to build the foundation. Expect to be grinding it out for at least 6 months before you ever close anything. It took me 13 months before I ever closed my first deal. And that first check was only $1,500. Most people would have quit. Most people would have given up. Most people would have found something else to do. I didn't, and 21 years later, I'm still here today, successfully investing in real estate every single month. You can do it too, but you have to have the right expectations when you come into this business. So expect to work extremely hard in your business. The whole point is I've learned so much over the 20 plus years I've been in business. And if you want to avoid these mistakes and work with me one-on-one in my coaching program, feel free to check the link in the description box. I'll be happy to have a discussion with you, and we can talk about what the program details are in order to see if you're a good fit for it. Hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to like it, subscribe to my channel, click the notification bell. And if you enjoyed this video, you'll definitely enjoy this video where I talked about one of the experiences where I lost $50,000 on a deal. Check it out, and I hope you enjoy it. See you on the next one. Peace.